Hello, welcome back. I'm after finishing on the hill that I was at the last time overlooking Loch Alua, and now I've come down to the shoreline of Loch Alua just before sunset, and as you can kind of make out here, it looks like we might get some nice light. There is a break on the horizon where the sun is setting, so hopefully the sun will come through that and it should light up the sky that I'm presented with in front of me. The water is flat, which is great. So it's going to give me mirror-like conditions, so hopefully if that sky does kick off, I will get a nice reflection in the water. And I have my camera set up here. It's pretty much, I suppose, no major interest off the shoreline except for an outcrop of rocks that are here, which I think will work nicely within the image. It will be a minimalist image, but it will work nicely within the image, because what it will do is bring the eye through the image itself. It should be surrounded then as well by the reflections on the water of the sky. And I'm going to probably end up putting something here which is the horizon in the center of the shot, because I like the symmetry of it. Because of the reflections and the flatness as well, it would actually work. Now, they say you shouldn't put the horizon in the center of your shot, from the rules of composition, but I kind of follow them. But when the scene presents itself, and you don't really have to follow the rules. If it looks right, then it is right, as said by John Hooton on one of my in the landscape photographer profile episodes. Actually, I'll link to that episode here because it was quite insightful from John. But I'm going to hopefully wait until the sun will just dip below the gap that's in the clouds in the far distance there, and I should hopefully end up with a nice sky as well for this shot. Looking doubtful if I'm going to get any light. It looks like it is dying. There's a bit of light right behind me over here, but not where I want to go. And rather than having the same shot over and over again, what I'm going to try and do now is I'm going to walk along these rocks, and I'm going to stand on the very end of this one here, and I'm going to try and see if I can get myself into the shot. I will be in the center of the shot. It might add a bit of symmetry and a bit of difference to the shot itself, but yeah, just trying to make the most really of a small bit of colour. If only a tiny bit more, it would be good. Don't know still, that gap is still there, but looking at the time, I think we're going to miss it. But I'll try and take this shot here, and we'll see how the light will pan out. Either it's going to go great, or it's not going to go great. But yeah, I'll take the shot here. I'm going to use the Capture Pro. So it's the wireless remote trigger I would have spoken about in previous episodes. And what that will allow me to do is just walk out here, and I can just take the shot, and I know that it's going to take the shot. I don't have to be anywhere near the camera. I don't have to set a timer. I don't have to rush. I can take my time. So it's a really, really good piece of equipment. It's always in my bag. It's something I would use on a regular basis. So I'll take the shot here now, and I'll come back in a moment. So not only did I get no colour, but now the flatness as well has gone out of the water. But what I was thinking, and what I saw when I was reviewing some of the images, is that the clouds are going with me towards the sunset. So I'm going to change out my filters. I'm going to put on the Lee Little Stopper. It's going to give me 6 stops of extra light. And I'm going to go for a long exposure. I'm probably going to go for the standard 30-second, and then I might actually just change it into bulb mode and use the Capture Pro, which will allow me to be able to dial in the length of time that I want to be able to go for. So I can put in, say, a minute or a minute and a half or 2 minutes or whatever it may have been. I can just dial that in, don't have to hold my finger on any trigger or anything like that, and it's really, really handy from a specific long exposure timeline. that was a disappointment. I'm happy in what I did at the very end there in deciding to go for the long exposure. Having a look at the back of the camera there, it does actually think, I do think it's going to be a nice shot, because the clouds were coming with me, as I said earlier on. So I ended up bringing it from a minute to 2 minutes to 3 minutes as the light itself was fading. But sure, look, you can't get epic conditions every single time you come out, but it's about being out and trying to get the most of the scene that you have. I haven't changed my composition in any way, shape or form, so it'll be exactly the same shot, but just the different conditions. And even though I didn't get some beautiful light, it was still nice to be able to play around and do different types of exposure times, and particularly from the long exposure. So from Loch Lua on a grey end to what I thought was going to be a nice day. Thanks very much for watching this episode. I do hope you enjoyed it. As usual, please leave me a like and a comment, and I'd really appreciate if you subscribed. And until the next time, Slán go fóill.